Hi everyone, my name is Jubin, and today we are going to look at how to debug an agent, a broken agent using the traces in Foundry. You can also do that in VS Code that we saw in my previous episode. But the premise of this chapter is to, or this episode is to show you how to use the debugging tools that are available in Foundry. So we all write agents that do something unexpected, and the model calls a wrong tool or a response that normally should take few seconds, but it's taking a lot of time, and the user gets answer that they should not be getting, or that has nothing to do with their question. So uh, let's dive um, right into the agent that we're creating. So I have already created a support agent, uh, but let me start by creating a new agent. So support agent Fergie 2, and I'm just going to create and open a playground. And then instead of using GPT-5, I don't need a super advanced model for this, for our example. And I'm going to have the make sure the web search is enabled, which is perfect, which is enabled by default. And then I'm going to put some instructions over here that you are a research assistant and you're going to verify everything by researching twice before responding. And then um, and I'm also going to enable a file search tool. So this is going to create a new index, and then I'm going to browse some files. I'm going to add the product warranty over here. So it's going to update everything. I'm going to attach it. So it's going to create a new vector index, which is just embeddings that our model can understand. And that's how you make the external context and knowledge available to your model. And then now we are just going to ask it uh, what is the return policy of the products in case I change my mind. Uh, Depending on if I have used or not used the product. And then let's see what it responds. So over here, it says the files you provided do not contain specific information regarding the return, uh, but it does contain the information regarding the warranty from the date of purchase, and that does not cover the returns or exchanges due to change of mind or usage status. So if you notice, we look at the source and then we can read more, and then that opens um, the product warranty policy. So it says that all products carry a 2-year warranty policy from the date of purchase. For warranty claims, contact support at example.com. So you look at this and it does not give the email. Uh, it just makes up the information by itself. Uh, that you do not usually cover the returns or exchanges due to change in mind or usage status, which is pretty general and it's not mentioned at all uh, in my document, and it does not even give the example or the email. So let's just ask us another question. So what is the return policy? So now I'm changing my question. Let's see what it responds. So over here it gives a different response that for warranty claims you should contact, but it still does not has the information about the return of the product. So there are two things that we can debug is that the document that we uploaded should contain information about the return policy, and then we should also update the instructions because user won't change their question, they would just ask in a natural language. So if you do not have any information, tell the user that you don't know and give uh, email to contact support. So let's save this and let's ask the same question again. Oh, it's still making mistakes. So yeah, it still does not refer. So maybe we should simplify this first prompt. Is that we should remove this part where we searching and twice before responding. You are a helpful support agent. And then let's save this and let's try to ask the question again. Yeah, now it responds correctly. So that's the first bug that is achieved. And then another way you can have a bug is that you have overly complex prompt, which is something like this, that you are a helpful support a assistant, and then for Acme Corporation, and then always be polite, professional, empathetic. So let's save this and let's ask the same question again. So let's ask the same question. Now we have changed our instructions. Thank you for your question. So it does follow the prompt, but you can see that the time it takes is a lot of time it would take to respond. So that's where the token it's going to spend, it's going to be a lot of token. So we're looking at a couple of examples, but let's see. So it took 22 seconds to respond, and it took 2000, not a lot of token, but it does take a lot of time to respond. So when we look at the traces for our conversation, so let's see. And for the first one, so let's copy this and go to VS Code where we have where we would be developing this. So let me go to switch my tab to VS Code and load the conversation. And so the conversation is loaded, and now we see the user view. So here is the full user view. It did 2 file searches. So because we told it. So in the Foundry portal, you notice there was not a lot of information, but since we had given it instructions to search the information twice, it was looking in the file twice. So it does the first tool call, that was the input and output, and then the second tool call also input and output, and then the file set searched. So we look at the trace, and then the trace is loaded over here. So you look at the duration, you look at the tool execution, uh, and then look at the tokens, 1000 tokens and the cost. And then from the, so you can exactly see what's going on based on your instructions that you have provided, that it definitely makes bugs based on your instructions. So make sure our instructions are very, very clear. It does take some experimentation. And then when we go back to this conversation, so the last instruction update that we did was over here. Here we improved. So it probably still took around 8 seconds, but we did improve, and the file search took a little bit time. Um, and then we look at the tool execution, we look at the response we have, and then when we look at the full trajectory, the least amount of time that any conversation took was about the first few calls where the amount of instructions were pretty clear, but also vague in terms of sentence. And yeah, so that's how you would look at the tree view and then try to debug your traces, and then you can have more transparent um, view of your uh, Foundry agent, what it's doing. So the last one returned a very descriptive response, but also consumed a lot of tokens. But it, of course, we were using a lower LLM, so it does not amount to a lot of cost. So let's go back to our slides. So there is some repeatable debugging pattern that comes up from here, is that step one, try to reproduce the error, see the failing scenario in the playground and capture the specific turn. Load the traces in VS Code for a multi-turn conversation and paste it in a response ID or the conversation ID. And then chain token chart, look at the token chart first. And uh, step step 4 is looking at the trajectory duration mode. Look at the LLM span raw input, which model actually receive, what does the wrong answer bugs live in here, and uh, given the model was in correct context, like we saw in both of these bugs. And then the tool call span, where the argument did pass the model, but what comes back is the wrong tool arguments that was there, sometimes the wrong like the common root cause. So you won't always need this all 6 steps, but you can definitely uh, try to figure out and use this as helpful mechanism when you're debugging. So that's it for this episode. Uh, there and In the next one, it's going to be a very interesting episode where we are going to look at some of the agent traces, and we will see how to read and reduce the token cost. So yeah, thank you for visiting this video, and see you in the next one.